Automobuilds fam? Got Callie here with me. Good dog, Callie. Good dog, Callie. She's always excited about anything, really. Anyway, in this video, we're going to do a couple things. We're gonna watch Callie pull a stick out of the box. Go ahead, get a stick. Go ahead. She's gonna go over there and destroy that while we're taking care of business here. Good dog, Callie. Yeah, so in this video, first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go over all the mods I've done on the Magnum so far. It's 2006 Dodge Magnum RT. I bought it back in 2011 with like 40,000 miles or something. It was used, but it was stock. I've done quite a bit to it since then. Stick dog. And yeah, I'll probably forget some of the things that I've done to it. But yeah, we'll cover most of the important stuff, most of the big items. There's little things I've done, like there's it's like a park lockout mechanism for the auto manual shifting deal. And those are plastic, they break a lot. Your car gets stuck in neutral in this gen. It happens to the Chargers, Challengers, 300Cs, the Magnums. If you're a Mopar guy, you probably know. If you don't, you're gonna find out someday. But you can get a billet aluminum part for like 20 bucks online. There's a bunch of people that make them. So stuff like that, I might overlook. But yeah, we'll go through the big stuff. I'll show you what we've done. And then after that, we're gonna dive into what's happening next. I got a whole box of goodies over here. No, those are not all just sticks and paper stuff for fire. There's a box of goodies right here that are all car parts. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so I figure we'll start with the engine. I haven't really done much to the engine, unless you count cold air intake, the shaker hood I put on here. Well, I didn't do it. You have to cut the hood and do actual body work. A guy in Florida makes them. His name's Mo. He's a cool guy. Danko Reproductions, if you want to look him up. The shaker is currently in the back here, hiding in the hatch, so we can work on stuff. But it's back there. See? Nice and safe. Yep. Interior is pretty stock. I try to keep it really clean. No one ever sits back there, which is why it's so nice. Same thing with the front. Sometimes I have passengers. Most of the time I don't, unless it's my dog. But yeah, stock interior for the most part. Still has a tape deck. What is this? This is actually like a Bluetooth tape my homie Nico bought me. I think he kind of did it as a joke, but the quality on it is impressive. So I actually use it to play music. Funny enough. Yeah, so that's about it for the interior. Pretty darn stock. I did like a whole LED light upgrade in here, which oops, that's just gonna stay on because the door's open. But all the cabin lights are all white LEDs instead of the old school yellow, which brightens things up, and I think it looks a little cleaner. So I did that, but I don't even know if you call that a mod. They're light bulbs. Put 20-inch Bravado, Summer and others. A lot of the Hellcat guys run these now, which is kind of cool, but also kind of annoying, I guess, because I don't know, I've had these things since 2011 when I bought the car. We got Nitto NT555 G2s, which I really haven't had a chance to beat the crap out of, but the little bit of driving I did do with those, I was impressed. They're sticky, they're reasonably priced. Calculated parking job. Reasonably priced. Yeah, we'll find out more this summer to see how good those are. But I have high hopes. I hear a lot of good reviews about them. If not, whatever, I'll try a different tire. We'll just see what happens. So yeah, engine bay. I got a catch can to eliminate the blow-by oil issue, or vapor oil, whatever you want to call it. It works really well, I can tell you that much, because I have to empty the damn thing. Like, I don't know, I usually empty it, like, kind of depends on how hard I drive the car, and I really don't drive this car any other way. I have a Jeep, so if I'm cruising or going somewhere, I drive the Jeep. So this thing gets a lot of abuse, but that's what they're for. That's why they're fun. Shout out to HHP. If you know, you know. They do all my tuning. So that's another thing. I have a custom tune on the car. It's not just like the canned tune that comes with the tuner, which is fine. But I've done a couple other things to this car that require a tune, mostly on the transmission side. When I moved from Midwest, I was running like a 93 octane tune because that's what's at the pump. Out here on the West Coast, for whatever reason, we have 91 octane, so I had my tuner adjust that slightly. But yeah, wasn't anything major. The engine, like I said, is stock until we get into those goodies in that box over there. Hi, Callie. Enjoying your steak? I think she is. Pretty sure she is. Yeah, but after we go through those mods in the box, it'll probably make about 400 wheel, maybe a little more because of transmission. So yeah, we did a fully built SHR, which is Southern Hot Rod, down south. Eddie's the shop owner. I can't remember where they're at for some reason right now. I want to say like Louisiana or something like that. That's probably right. Transmissions are pretty freaking stout. Like, they're rated for well over 1,000 wheel, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Probably won't be testing those limits for a little bit, but we're gonna get there, don't worry. Don't you worry. We did a 4-inch aluminum drive shaft from Drive Shaft Shop, which we grab my handy dandy for the flashlight and see if we can see that. I don't know if we can from here, but we'll find out. Ooh, look at all that dust. I need to rip that plate off of there, but you can see the drive. Nope, that's the exhaust. I'm lying. Can't see the drive shaft. It's hiding. Anyway, yeah, we did KW V1 coilovers and SPC tubular upper control arms, which you can't really see that well, but you can kinda. So those are adjustable ball joints. Gives you a true alignment, which is important to me because I don't just like to go in a straight line. Surprise, if it's surprising, I don't know, probably. Believe it or not, this thing corners like a freaking beast, considering it's a 4-door, 4,000 pound station wagon. These cars have pretty much like a 50-50. It might be like 48, 52, whatever, but for the most part, 50-50 weight distribution. I've probably shed a few pounds, maybe a few hundred tops, just with all the, lighter wheels, suspension, drive shaft, because, the old drive shaft was probably 4 or 5 times heavier than the new one. Those aluminum drive shafts are crazy light. It almost makes you wonder if they're gonna break, but not at the power we're making. So not worried about that. More worried about the pistons. That's kind of the weakest link in the 5.7. But don't kid yourself. You can build these engines for well over 1,000 in the 1,500 horsepower range. You want to get crazy, you can get close up to 2K. You're probably going to be breaking stuff more frequently doing that, but I think that's the case for anything that makes like 2,000 horsepower. Unless you way overbuild the engine for 3,000 or 4,000 horsepower and you're only running like lower boost or less nitrous, or combo, whatever your power adder is. But yeah, the platform has got a ton of potential. The 5.7s, the 6.1s, the 6.4s, the 6.2, they all have solid 1,000+ wheel horsepower potential. So yeah, so that's kind of why I ended up with this car. There weren't a lot of SRT8s out at the time, and really the mods that I was planning to do with this thing, I'm gonna get rid of everything that the SRT8 really has that kind of one-ups the RT. Probably we'll end up doing a 6.4, which is a 392 based 5.7. Haven't really decided what power adder we're going with, but with the mods we're doing, really it's not gonna break the bank or cost us any loss down the road long term. Because most of the stuff I've done to it and am doing to it are supporting mods for the power levels that I'm looking to hit. So with the exception of the cam, I don't know what this cam is technically rated for, but it's not really great for boost. But it'd be fine for like high compression and nitrous. It's more so just to kind of like wake the engine up and then get the power out of it that it has, kind of max out the potential of the motor without having to replace pistons. Basically, I'm doing a top end engine build without porting or swapping the heads, so it's essentially just a camshaft. But yeah, we'll get into the parts here real quick. Aside from what else I've done to the car, let me see, we got transmission build, which I can go over the build sheet for that. I don't really understand some of this stuff. But they, completely tear down the transmission. They wash all the parts, of course. They do a full inspection, full dry stack build. They set friction clearance to their own like custom specifications. Tear down the valve body. It actually has a billet valve body in it, so increased shift pressure, all that stuff. Like this thing kicks like a freaking horse when it shifts. It's nasty. Some people think something's wrong with it, but everything's right with it. It's just not really intended for street use. It's not bad to use it on the street, just it's uncomfortable to a lot of people. They don't like the nasty like torque and violence that you feel in a car like that, but I do. So that's why I drive it on the street. It's good for the track though. That's what it's really meant for. They vacuum test all the valves, they machine and replace the valves, modify hydraulic circuits for whatever reason. That's over my head. They do a whole valve body test. They bead blast the transmission case, and then they do like a final wet build. Yeah, it has a 300M input shaft, Mod 6 valve body, Alto Red Eagle friction material, max capacity K3 clutch support. It's an automatic, so they have clutches in them, but it doesn't have a clutch pedal. They put in a max duty freewheel clutches, Trans Track max duty O-ring and seal kit, and then they put a Mercedes-Benz like AMG transmission pan on it, which is a little deeper, holds more fluid and cools better. And then they do like an OEM connector plate. I also upgraded the flex plate. I have a SFI flex plate. I got a triple spline, individually welded spline, whatever, the F locking converter. It's a 3200 RPM stall from FTI. Those are freaking sweet. That's all for the transmission really, along with the drive shaft, like I mentioned. And I think most of this other stuff is for the new. It is actually. And I guess we can just jump into that, because I was going to tell you about something else that I haven't installed the car, but I realized it's in the box. So why don't we just get into the box then? What do you think, Callie? Should we get into the box now? She's like, I think we should go to bed, Dad, because we worked all day and now we're working on the car. But that's not work, that's fun. So yeah, we had fun all day and now we're gonna have more fun, and then we're gonna go to bed and rinse and repeat and do it again tomorrow. So how's it going, wood chipper? How's it going? Yeah? You're a good dog. You are such a good dog. All right, so let's get into the goodies here. I'll put you guys over here. I'll put you over here and we'll hop right in. So yeah, let's do that. Yeah, alrighty tighty lefty loosey, oakley dokley neighbor, we're gonna jump into the parts. We're gonna jump in the parts. And I have papers with me just to make sure, what did I write on that I don't forget to mention something. So, the first thing that we purchased for the top end 5.7 Hemi engine rebuild is a 6.1 SRT8 timing chain assembly. They're a little bit, I think they're a little bit more stout than the 5.7 timing chain assembly, because otherwise they probably would have sold me one of those. I would assume they're less expensive. So we're putting that on. Of course, we've got gaskets for all these things. We got OEM Hemi head bolts and head gasket set. We've got Mopar heavy duty Gen 3 Hemi lifters. Let me grab those. There's the box over here. So, lifters. We've got lifters. I'm pretty sure these are the lifters, and they're all in plastic. And we're not going to take them out because they're pre-oiled, and the better lubricated they are, the better the engine is. So we'll just leave those suckers in the box. But you can see they're heavy duty non-MDS lifters. And yeah, brand new, nice and ready. And obviously we have several of those because it's not a 4-cylinder. So getting all this paper out of the way. We'll burn, you know what, we'll put this in the box of stuff that we burn, along with the other thing. See, that's the great thing about buying car parts. When you want to start a fire, you got all the paper you need to start a fire. Right, Callie? Good job. Okay, more lifters. Lifters, lifters, lifters. There are 4 boxes of lifters in here. And now there are no boxes of lifters in there because they're all on the table, as you can see. Next, we got a low-car locking oil dipstick. Now, this isn't a huge mod by any means, but I don't know. I've seen people at the track and the not track, where we are not supposed to be causing problems, where their dipsticks will blow out of the engine because of pressure for some reason. So these don't come out. You got a coupling you got to pull down in order to release it. So that's going to be a nice little upgrade. Plus it looks really cool, high quality. Low-car makes good stuff. Been wanting to install this for a while, but it's such a pain in the butt without taking the heads off, which we're going to do anyway because we're rebuilding the top end. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to save that for later. And I did. Here it is. Let me get this stuff out of the way here. My GoPro stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna put that over here, out of the way. All right. Good deal. Okay. Next on the list. Well, these are head gaskets. Head gaskets are head gaskets. You need them. They're here. I'm not going to bore you to death about head gaskets. Replace them when you pull the heads. The end. We got a Gates Micro V serpentine belt. Gates makes the good stuff. And we've got an energy suspension bushing kit. We're probably not going to put this on without a lift because it is a pain in the butt. And I just don't have the tools to do that right now. So that's something that's going to happen in the future. But nonetheless, I bought them ahead of time for some reason. I remember it was because I was installing a drive shaft and there's a rear diff bushing on there that's polyurethane instead of the rubber factory one, which ironically got destroyed after I drove it for 50 miles when I put the drive shaft in. So I ended up going back to the stock OEM rear diff bushing. I worked with Energy, they're really cool. They offered to send me a new one, but I don't think this bushing is like designed for the diff in this, and I'm getting a new rear end anyway, so I told them don't worry about it. I'll figure it out later. But if it comes down to it, I'll buy a new one from them or tell them, you know, hey, maybe give me a discount. I don't know, whatever. We'll get a new one. It's not that expensive. Otherwise, we'll probably just use OEM. Whatever my tuner recommends, I need to talk to him about that. Not a big deal. Next we've got, what is this? What is this? I think this might be an oil pump. It is not. Oh, this is the timing chain assembly. So yeah, this is the belt tensioner, or the chain tensioner thing. This is the chain and the gear set and everything else that you need. So yeah, we'll put those suckers on soon. What's this? Oh, that fell out of the bag. Oh, let's put it back. It's just wrapped up all nice and pretty in the bubble wrap. Oh, gee, guys. What a nice way to package things. So yeah, bam, timing chain assembly. We've got a Dayco no slack automatic belt tensioner. Yeah, this is gonna be an upgrade from the factory. It's just a belt tensioner, puts tension on the belt. Pretty straightforward. If you know, you know. If you don't, well, I'm not gonna teach you. You have Google. You can Google's it. So I suggest you do that if you're not sure what that does. I wasn't sure what it does at one point, and now I'm sure what it does. So there we have it. We've got some extra LEDs. Oh, that's another thing I did on this car. I did custom headlights and tail lights. And those are pretty cool. Let me show them to you. Let me show you something. Let me show you. Okay, you're not Fire Marshal Bill. You're probably not gonna understand that reference. I grew up in the hood. We watched In Living Color all the time. It's a good show. Anyway, custom headlights. They've got halos. I wonder if we can turn those on. If I got battery in here, let's see. Let's see, because they look pretty. Boop. Oh, there we go. Oh, stop beeping. We're not going for a ride. Don't get too excited. Yeah, cool. Yay, custom halos. They're not very bright because the engine's not on, but normally they're both lit up like that. I kept the old factory orange color daytime running lights because I think they look cool. These LEDs on the top light up, but as you can see, the wiring is not connected, and that's because of a reason. And the reason is a couple of them came burnt out, so like they didn't work. And I wasn't about to drive around with like 2 missing bulbs, so I hit up Spider and I was like, hey, can I buy some new bulbs? Because I've had these headlights for like 10 years and I don't expect you to fix them, even though they came dead on arrival. And the dude didn't even ask me for billing or anything. He like asked me what my address was and sent me a whole new set of them. So I've got 5 spare, which is great because I know I need at least 2 of those. And then my custom tail lights, they're all tinted and matched like the front. They look really pretty, but on the camera they look like they're blinking because LEDs in filming, I guess. I don't know the science behind that, but I know it works that way. Yeah, other than that, see, I told you I'd forget about some mods that I've done to this. The headlights are one. The grill is another. Our handy dandy Mopar service mat was covering. I put in my own custom grill. Those things are ridiculously expensive if you buy the retail version. Long story short, I found the company in California that was like making them and molding them for the company that was reselling them online like over 10 years ago. And I ended up buying one for like, I don't know, it was like $200 or something opposed to the 800 they wanted from the factory because they come all painted, and I don't think they're worth $800, but you know, it's good. It looks good. It's sturdy. It's like got these little wing nuts on it to hold it in, but it's kind of flimsy. It's not as tight as I'd like it to be. I think, yeah, anyway. I need to drill holes in the thing, just kind of modify it a little bit to make it better. Haven't done that. Whatever, we'll do it some other day. I better turn these taillights off before my battery dies, because we're not driving this thing right now because it's got something wrong with it. And hopefully the thing that's wrong with it is either on that table or in this box. So let's get back to what's in the box, okay? I think that sounds like a great idea. Don't you? Good, glad you agree. So let me put this back on. I don't like cutting and doing like cut scenes and crap and like, not that it's fake, but like, it's just, I don't know, it feels unnatural to me. So you're gonna hear everything I do and say and whatever, and I might cut stuff sometimes because I switch to a different scene or whatever, but anyway, no one cares. So we got Manly push rods. They're powers the winners is what it says, Manly. I think they've got plenty of room to say that. Anyway, these are just push rods. Push rods are just, oh, they're all wrapped up in paper, so you can't really see them. But they're push rods. They're just like steel rods that push. Push rods. Good, glad we're on the same page. Got me some Max Tough Royal Purple Assembly Lube. I like Royal Purple, all the things. I've seen a lot of oil testing out there. I'm not gonna say that it's the best there is, but it's my favorite. So I use Royal Purple oil. I use this for the first time. I'm going to be using this, I guess. I haven't used it before. But I'm not even worried about it. Pretty sure it's gonna be a good solution. I run a K&N oil filter on this too, because if you don't know, you can get a K&N oil filter with a nut on the bottom, so they're easy to take off and put on. And that's why I do that. And also, if you tear apart an oil filter made by K&N, they're really well built from what I've seen. So that's also the reason. We've got here a Melling oil pump. Melling Performance oil pump. Yeah, why would I go with OEM when this option is available? So, we did. Here it is. It's gonna get installed whenever it makes sense to do that, because I know it's way down on the bottom by the crankshaft. In fact, I think it's attached to the crankshaft. All right, next we have, this is something I didn't buy. I did a favor for a friend. It's a good friend of mine, cool guy. You might see him on the channel. He drives a pretty sick BRZ. I think he's gonna finally mod it, because a while ago he bought it and was like, I'm leaving it stock. And I'm like, yep, I understand. We all know how that goes. So now he's talking like adding a supercharger and all sorts of cool stuff. Apparently those modders, apparently them modders are good for some high horsepower. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there. These are just gaskets. Got Velcro gaskets because they're my favorite. They're a really well-known company. They make good stuff. This is just an OEM crank. I think it's the timing cover gasket. And these are just rear sway bar bushings, which I also have down there. And maybe I'll pick that up and show it to you. That's what I'll do. Hey Callie, will you help me pick this up? Okay, thanks. Rear sway bar. I already put the front sway bar on. Unfortunately on this car, in order to put a rear sway bar on, you have to drop the whole rear cradle. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna do that anyway when I replace the rear end. That's coming next, unless I blow the motor up and have to rebuild that too. Then I'm doing both of those things. Probably at the same time. But yeah, that's why that's not installed yet. Because if I'm gonna drop the rear cradle to do a new rear diff and half shafts, I'm gonna install this at that time. It makes sense. All right, glad we understand that. This is just an OEM Mopar water pump. Kapow! It's already got the seal on the back, or the gasket. New water pumps going in, because why not? If you're tearing all this stuff apart, they're not that expensive. It's important to cool it down. Therefore, we got ourselves a new water pump to cool it down, along with the new oil pump. This is just an idler pulley. I don't even know if I need that. I bought it for my other Mopar and I didn't use it, so maybe I'll put it on this one just because I have it. We'll see. We'll see. Here we have just a bunch of bolts and nuts. We've got some titanium retainers, which are for the valve springs, pretty sure. Don't worry, I don't know what I'm doing. It's fine, it's gonna work. I'm gonna put it all together and things are not gonna break, it's gonna be fine. This is a special Hemi tool. You can use a giant C-clamp, but this is to pull the valve springs. You just bolt it onto the head. You can twist that down, tighten it with a socket wrench. Super handy. I would leave home without it, but I wouldn't not have it in my garage. All right, next on the list, we've got some Moog suspension parts because I love Moog. I love the Problem Solver series, steering and suspension, the Problem Solver. I don't know if this is 100% accurate, but most of the Moog Problem Solver parts have little spots where you can, okay, these don't need to be oiled, so they don't have them, but like their front control arms or sway bar end links have a little valve on it. You can add grease if you need to. So I like Moog, they're good, they're not expensive. So on a Mopar, you get used to replacing steering components, especially if you drive like I do. These are great. I'm gonna stick with them. It's not broke, don't fix it, right? But if it's broke, fix it with Moog. And these suckers, we've got, these are the valve spring, PSI Performance valve springs. They're just springs for valves. Nothing much to show you here. We got like 16 of them because that's what you need for this engine. I think there's 16. Yep, did my math real quick. I was right, there's 16. Those can go here. And one of the best mods. These guys are the best. I don't know who makes something better than these guys, but ATI Super Damper. It's a harmonic balancer. Yeah, you probably know what this is. It balances the harmonics. Oh, we got some stickers. That's cool. I'll have to stick those on my workbench or my shelf with the other stickers. But yeah, anyway, harmonic balancer is gonna go in. So she's nice and harmonically balanced and we don't run into problemos. Yeah, gosh, this is dusty box for dusting. And last, but certainly not least, we've got a custom grind spec cam from HHP BES. They work together. Josh is a really cool guy. He owns the shop, owns HHP. BES is Tony Bischoff. I think it's Bischoff Engine. I don't know what BES stands for. I'm drawing a blank. That's pathetic. Anyway, they make racing engines. They do a great job. Their shit doesn't break. You should buy one from them. Because I'm gonna. Or maybe don't do that because I don't want to lose to you if you have more money to spend on your car. So stay away from there. Let me buy their stuff. And yeah, anyway, you know I'm kidding. So that is it. That is the glorious parts reveal. And then we went over the parts that I've already installed on the Magnum. You might ask yourself where we're going after this and what we're gonna do to the car next. You know, I ask myself that question all the time. So, we'll see. We will see. But I could go turbos. I could go with a blower. Or I might just add a bunch of nitrous and say, hey, I like to party. Kind of leaning towards the nitrous because of what I want to do with this car. So we'll see what happens. But first, we gotta install all this crap. So none of that really even matters. yeah, until we've done that. And then we're doing the rear end next anyway. So I've got plenty of time to make that decision, and y'all are gonna come along for the ride anyway, so. I'm gonna remove all this stuff off of here and probably do the head work on that, replacing the springs. And then we're gonna bolt everything back on this sucker and we'll be done ski. And we should make about maybe a little over 400 wheel horsepower afterwards. It'll be interesting to see because I've seen a lot of the stock cam setups on the dyno. They make like high 390s, low like 405, 395 to 405, depending on the dyno and all that nonsense. But none of them have built transmissions, none of them have locking converters, and none of them had 4-inch aluminum drive shafts. So I've removed a lot of drivetrain loss in my transmission by upgrading those parts. It made a night and day difference in this car. I can do rolling burnouts at like 20, 30 mile an hour in first gear. There's no like safety tune in the car where it'll upshift automatically. Like if I just lay into it and don't shift, I'll blow up the engine probably, but it does have rev limiter set within a healthy parameter. All of these cars, they make really good power between like 1,000 RPM all the way up to 6,000 RPM. So they're really torquey out of the hole. It's a good time. I love it. But yeah, anyway, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all y'all's. Smash that like button down here somewhere. Okay, I had to show you the mess that Callie made here. Good girl. Can you put him back in the box now? She's like, Dad, you didn't teach me how to do that. You just taught me how to take him out of the box. Put it back. She's like, nope. I'm gonna. Get it, Callie. Yeah, you get that stick. Yeah, you show him what we do to sticks around here. That's right, a little stick murdering dog. Yeah, good dog. Okay, now for real. See you next time. Thanks for watching. I don't know what hand signals I'm doing.